As a general proposition, the general population, education is a big issue in the Dominican Republic. Baseball exacerbates the issue. Clubs will pay for kids who are better learners, who've been exposed to an education.
Why do you think they're so able to handle that at such a young age? These kids are signing at 16, 17 years old.
And it's because they don't have another choice. Plan A for these players is to make it to the big leagues.
Slider hit in the air to right center field. It's near the wall. It's out of here. Ahmed Rosario with a two-run homer off Aroldis Chapman.
What do you remember about the first time you saw Ahmed Rosario?
Oof. With his presence, you can tell that he was special. He's one of a kind.
Majority come from very humble backgrounds, and baseball brings a lot of joy and pride.
Pitch from Familia. In there, strike three called. The Mets win the pennant.
If you explain to somebody, nobody going to believe you. Everything I got is for them. This is something special for me.
The Dominican Republic, a small Caribbean nation with roughly half the population of New York State. Yet for the last decade, nearly 10% of major leaguers have hailed from the country, by far the most from any one place outside of the U.S. So how and why does a country so small consistently produce such a high volume of baseball talent? The answer lies somewhere at the heart of a nation where baseball is viewed not only as a way of life, but as an opportunity to significantly enhance it. It's a late November day in the Dominican Republic. Back in the United States, the baseball offseason is in full swing. Here in the DR, there's no such thing. While baseball in America is considered the national pastime, baseball in the Dominican Republic is the national obsession. And all across the country, you see examples of it. Scenes like this year-round. Kids playing and dreaming of becoming the next big Dominican-born Major League superstar. Maybe a league leader in saves.
He struck him out, and the ball game is over. Jeurys Familia back on the hill and back in the fold.
Or a Gold Glove winner.
Lagares chasing back, and he makes the catch. Lagares showing off his Gold Glove form.
Or a rising star stepping to the plate on the world's biggest stage.
Rosario hits one out to right center field. It's deep. Back in the gap near the wall. It's out of here! Ahmed Rosario with his first Major League home run.
Para nosotros el béisbol es algo ya que lo llevamos en la sangre.
Era loco con la pelota. Yo era loco, siempre hasta con guantes de cartón, con bola de naranja, de todo. Y es pelota, todo pelota. Y creo que por eso en toda parte del país eso es lo que más se hace, jugar mucha pelota.
El béisbol en Dominicana representa lo que es un 100%, ya que es una de las formas en la cual el joven puede sacar a su familia más adelante, más rápido, diría.
When people say it, I'm sure somebody has said that when you're born and you have a boy, you put a bat on a ball. It literally is like that. People see that as their future Pedro Martinez, their future David Ortiz, Juan Marichal, for those one, the grandfather that remember, somebody like that.
Rafael Perez is the director of Dominican operations for Major League Baseball. He understands as well as anyone the passion people here have for the sport. He also understands the reality. In a country where nearly 1/3 of the population lives below the poverty line, baseball is viewed as much more than just a game.
It's a way out. Unfortunately, we're talking about a third world country that has a lot of issues. They have a lot of wonderful things here, but a lot of our players come from socio-economical background that are, very low, and with low level of education. And baseball brings a lot of joy and pride. It's not a secret. Majority come from very humble backgrounds.
Big family a lot of times. Sometimes they grow up with a broken family. And baseball really gives them an opportunity.
Juan Henderson oversees a place where the opportunity truly begins for those with enough talent. Henderson heads up the Mets Baseball Academy here in the Dominican Republic, a state-of-the-art complex that opened in Boca Chica in 2008. Every major league organization has an academy in this country, each franchise recognizing the incredible abundance of baseball talent here just waiting to be found.
With all the respect to the 29 other clubs, I would rank the Mets Academy within the top 3. I think what differentiates this academy from the other ones is the personnel.
El otro equipo van a hacer su throwing program aquí, van a batear aquí y van a mandar un grupo al cage.
It's just an incredibly well designed and at this point fully mature academy that is maintained really well. We've got an exceptional physical plant and we've got exceptional people supervising it.
Mets general manager Sandy Alderson knows a thing or two about baseball in the Dominican Republic. Back in 2010, there were growing concerns in the league office over a number of issues having to do with the Dominican pipeline. Alderson was tasked by then-Commissioner Bud Selig to go to the country, figure out what was wrong, and make suggestions on how to fix it.
When you did go down there in 2010, what were the initial findings that you said, okay, this is done pretty well, and here are some issues that we need to figure out how to work through?
Well, there were a number of issues. One was the use of performance-enhancing drugs by kids who hadn't even been signed by professional baseball. I mean, these are kids that are 12, 13, 14 years old. A second issue was age and identity fraud. And then there was just plain corruption. And I don't mean just on the part of Dominicans, but also Major League Baseball employees.
While it would be naive to think those issues have gone away entirely, major strides have been made since 2010 to correct each problem. Players are now tested for PEDs before they sign their first contract. A registration department has been set up to limit age and ID fraud. As for corruption, look no further than the recent Atlanta Braves scandal to understand just how harshly baseball treats those who try to circumvent the system. Of course, there's still one major issue where minimal strides have been made, a complex problem at the core of so many others in the Dominican Republic.
As a general proposition, the general population, education is a big issue in the Dominican Republic. Now, baseball exacerbates the issue by diverting young kids away from school from maybe at age 12 or 13 until they maybe get signed, maybe don't get signed.
I don't worry about the ones that make it. I worry about the ones that don't make it.
And that's the real problem. Despite the abundance of MLB talent from the DR, it's still an extreme long shot to make the big leagues. Those who try and fail are generally left with very little education to fall back on. But some clubs are doing what they can to help. The Mets were one of the first major league organizations to implement an education program at their academy.
I've always felt that was very important, not just from a personal and educational, humanitarian standpoint, but also from a baseball standpoint. But the bottom line is, to the extent that they get a better education from us and learn some English, they are employable once they leave baseball.
The Mets have even gone as far as to provide something extremely rare in major league academies: mental skills classes designed to, among other things, help young players handle the immense pressures that come along with trying to provide for their families through baseball.
Most of these guys, when they sign, they immediately become the main breadwinner in their household, and they have a lot of people depending on them, not just their immediate family, but people from their communities.
Why do you think they're so able to handle that at such a young age? These kids are signing at 16, 17 years old.
Many it's because they don't have another choice. Many it's because that's something they've been striving towards since a very early age.
Plan A for these players is to make it to the big leagues. But through our education program, they get the opportunity to finish high school. I can tell you, I received many phone calls, emails from former players that they are so grateful. They get opportunity to go back to school, enroll in college. A lot of doors open.
What is your role on a daily basis here with the organization?
To find big leaguers.
With so much baseball talent in the Dominican Republic, distinguishing between those who could make it and those who might not can be a challenge. In his role as Latin American coordinator for the Mets, Gerardo Cabrera holds roughly one tryout per week, trying to sift through the best of the best. Every so often, though, the answer is obvious, like it was 8 years ago when Cabrera was introduced to a rare talent who was turning heads.
What do you remember about the first time you saw Ahmed Rosario?
Oof. The first time that I saw him, he was 14 years old. He was like, well, that's the guy that you need to watch. You got to forget about everybody. Just focus on that guy.
At the time, Rosario was playing at the La Havia Baseball Academy. Between 800 and 900 players ages 5 to 17 train there every year. John Carmona has run the academy for the last decade.
Cuando yo conocí a Ahmed era un pelotero que tú querías tenerlo al lado porque era un pelotero que extrovertido, era un pelotero con mucha energía. Y yo creo que cualquier persona quisiera tener a un pelotero como Ahmed. Yo considero que hasta el momento Ahmed ha sido mi pelotero número uno.
Está en uno de muchos. Diría que la mayoría de mis mejores recuerdos, lo que fue durante mi niñez.
Anyone in particular stand out?
Diría que todos los campeonatos que nosotros ganamos.
So your team won a lot of championships. Yeah. What stood out?
Chispa. Rapidez, era un muchacho, había que mirarlo porque jugaba shortstop, pichaba, quechaba y te pedía, dame la bola, quiero ganar. Esa era la actitud de él.
The development of that unique attitude and skill set was no accident. From an early age, Rosario's father, Germán, recognized Ahmed was special and trained him for what was ahead.
Yo me levantaba con Ahmed a las 6 de la mañana. Cuando yo tenía trabajo, entraba a las 4, yo me levantaba con Ahmed a las 6 de la mañana a trabajar 2 horas de físico. Cuando veníamos aquí a la liga, los otros jóvenes pensaban que Ahmed no había trabajado. Ahmed venía, se estrechaba 15 minutos. Solamente los otros trabajaban esos 15 minutos sin saber que ya Ahmed había trabajado 2 horas antes.
Batear lo que se llama, lo de la palmita, ¿cómo se dice? Los coquitos de la palmita.
So how small is that compared to a baseball?
Es que la pelota es como aquí y esto como que.
He had in his mind what he wanted to be a big leaguer. Every week I gotta go there to see him and talk to the dad. To be able to sign at 16, I had more like history and more connection with the family.
Developing those connections are critical in the Dominican Republic. With no draft and a cap on what teams can spend internationally, it's often the relationships that scouts build with families that can be the difference, just like it was with Rosario. On July 2, 2012, the Mets signed Ahmed to a $1.75 million contract. At the time, the largest contract ever given by the Mets to an international amateur, but maybe not the largest offer Rosario had on the table.
Was there ever a point where you felt you might lose Rosario, you might not get him?
Yeah. There was a rumor that July 2nd, that day, there was a team that offered more than we offered. And the dad said, no, we already give the word to the Mets, and they had a good relationship with us, and they basically did the job.
That has to make you feel pretty good.
Exactly. The important thing is to have a good relationship with the agent and the family.
While Rosario's talent on the field was what drove the Mets' interest, his family life off of it was just as important. Unlike most players signed from the Dominican, both of Ahmed's parents were educated. His father was a lawyer and then a judge. His mother, Neri, was a business administrator. Both were adamant about Ahmed finishing high school before moving on to a career in baseball.
Corregía tarea, chequeaba los cuadernos, era yo. Entonces para mí siempre fue muy fácil el yo poder ayudarlo. Como él me dijo a mí que sí, que él veía el béisbol como una profesión, pues yo dije, ok, pero tú me entregas tu título de bachiller y yo te ayudo en todo lo que tenga que ser, tus tareas, los trabajos que tú tengas que presentar, pero tenemos que hacerlo juntos.
He's one of a kind. He got the complete package. The way that the dad and the family educate the kid is really unique.
Eso es lo mejor de la historia de Ahmed. Ahmed fue a la escuela todos los días, Ahmed practicaba en la semana, cumplía con sus actividades familiares, pero nunca abandonó el estudio. O sea, sí se puede ser una persona profesional en el deporte sin abandonar. Y yo creo que el ejemplo que debe de permanecer para todas las personas que practican el béisbol es que Ahmed Rosario pudo hacer ambas y no descuidó ninguna.
1, 2, 3. ¡Avilla! No se escuchó. 1, 2 y 3. ¡Avilla!
The Mets, perhaps just one pitch away from a pennant. Here's the payoff pitch from Familia. In there, strike three called. The Mets win the pennant.
Unlike many young boys in the Dominican Republic, Jerry's Familia did not grow up dreaming of moments like this, at least not at first. In terms of living conditions, though, he grew up just like so many around him. Familia spent the early years of his life in this house, one that he shared with his parents, 3 siblings, grandmother, and uncle.
I remember I used to play here in that rock.
Right over here?
Yeah. Every time I came here, now I see the rock more like get little and little. But
because it was big when
as a
kid.
Yeah, take me some work to get on that rock.
That's what you would try and do, climb up on top of the rock?
Always.
Yeah. With your brothers and sisters too?
Yeah. Here is the bathroom here.
This hole right here?
Yeah. Maybe right now they have different, but in that time, everybody had bathroom like that here.
Both of Familia's parents worked multiple jobs around the clock trying to make ends meet. Growing up, Jerry's would often pray for a way to help his parents. When he was 15, his prayers were answered. One day, Familia visited a local baseball stadium to watch other kids at a pro tryout, but it was Jerry's who ended up catching a scout's eye.
Yo me senté en la grada y el scout me llamó y me dijo que abriera la mano. Cuando yo abrí la mano, él me dijo que si me gustaba el dinero. Yo dije, ¿a quién no le gusta el dinero? Y después de ahí, yo creo que eso fue un mensaje que Dios me mandó a mí y creo que estoy aquí por ese mensaje.
Familia had always been more interested in basketball, but quickly shifted all of his focus to baseball. 2 years later, the change paid off. After tryouts with numerous major league teams, Jerry's found himself sitting in the academy offices of the New York Mets.
Un día llegó Ramón Peña y hicieron un juego, yo piché como 3 entradas y ese día Ramón me dijo a mí que me iba a firmar. Cuando fui a la oficina, él me recuerdo que me dijo, tiene $100,000 en la mesa y 2 horas para pensarlo.
How long did it take you in those 2 hours to say I'm going to sign here?
Yo quería firmar inmediatamente cuando él me dijo eso, pero mi entrenador quería tratar de conseguir algo más. Yo le decía, Vizcaíno, ya yo no quiero más dinero porque las otras organizaciones me ofrecían 20, 30, 40, 50 y eso era lo máximo que me hubieran ofrecido. Era algo que yo no lo quería en el momento, solamente se me salían lágrimas y nada. En el momento no podía pensar de la felicidad y sabiendo que tengo mucha cantidad de dinero también, porque aunque no es mucho para muchas personas, pero para mí eso era una fortuna.
It was more money than Familia had ever seen before, life-changing money for his family, and as he'd soon find out, life-saving money as well.
Yo ahorita estaba en las menores cuando me hicieron el cateterismo. Estando era en las menores, a mí tuvieron que someterme a un cateterismo, que fueron 54,000 pesos. Y, como les digo, mi vida depende de la mano de Jerry. Porque de medicamentos yo gasto alrededor de 20,000 pesos mensual.
If Jerry's had not gone on this path, would you have been able to afford that surgery?
No, ya yo no existiera.
Familia's new income not only allowed for the heart procedure that saved his mother's life, but greatly enhanced the quality of his father's. After years of dealing with a debilitating hip problem, Jerry's paid for a surgery to fix the issue once and for all. Then, with the very first major league paycheck Familia earned, he fulfilled one of his lifelong dreams and had a brand new house built for his entire family.
Porque, como te digo, la vida es algo que uno nunca sabe lo que va a pasar. Yo quería asegurarme que ese era el primer propósito que yo quería hacer en mi vida, porque de la manera que yo veía a mi padre luchando cada día por traer el pan a mí y a mis hermanos cada día, eso tenía que ser el propósito número uno en mi vida, y yo creo que en mis hermanos también.
Mi hijo es un excelente hijo, un gran ser humano. Todos mis hijos son buenos, todos, pero mi hijo es excelente, ellos son todos buenos. Lo que pasa es que como él es el que juega, él es el que puede, pero yo no tengo cómo definir a mi hijo. Un gran ser humano, una gran persona y es loco con nosotros.
When you come back here, having accomplished all that you have and living in New York City, what are the emotions? What do you feel like when you step back to where it all started in much more humble beginnings?
Bueno, esto es algo, yo diría que es algo increíble. Lo que yo siento es algo como inexplicable. Pero este es uno de los lugares que cuando yo vengo aquí me hace volver a la realidad y no me permite tratar de cambiar a mi persona y seguir siendo quien soy. If you explain to somebody, nobody going to believe you. Everything I got is for them, because what he did, hang in my mind, is something like, right now, if they ask me to do it, I don't know if I can do it. So this is something special for me.
I would think that Jerry's experience is still far more common than Ahmed's. You know, we're talking about a country that has a tremendous amount of poverty. There are still lots of issues there, lots of sociological issues there. But I'll actually tell you why I think there are 30 academies there and not 30 in Venezuela or Cuba or any place else. It's political stability. The stability in the Dominican Republic is reliable enough for 30 teams to make investments there. But I think it's also a function of the economy. It's seen as a way up and out for a lot of people, and there aren't that many other options. Baseball is the one really possible outlet or opportunity for people that doesn't exist otherwise.